Hi, I'm Emma from Kingsbridge Health and Sports Therapy. Obviously at the moment we're not able to provide our stretching classes around the local community. Therefore we thought, why not bring stretching to you at home? There's no reason why we shouldn't be stretching at home when we're probably all twiddling our thumbs a little bit. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring to you a few exercises that are specific to any sciatic pain that you might be experiencing from the lower back, bottom to the back of the leg, and also just general maybe lower back pain as well. So I've put 10 exercises together and I'm going to run through them. Before we start, I want you to think about a stretch scale. So I always like to use a stretch scale from 0 to 10, 10 being your strongest stretch you could possibly go, and 0 obviously being nothing. And I would like you to stick anywhere between a 6 and 7, so not too high, especially if you're new to this, new to stretching, just taking it quite easy, especially for the first time. So let's make a start. The first exercise I'm going to give you would be hip openers. So lying down, pillow if you need it to help support the neck. I'm okay, but some of you might need it. So we're going to place our right foot onto our left knee with our same hand, so our right hand. We are going to push our leg away from us, so we're opening up more hip, groin, inner thigh. And then with the opposite hand, we're going to pull the knee in, so stretching your side of the leg into our bottom. And we're going to hold that for 3 seconds in each position. So we're keeping it fairly dynamic. It's a bit of a warm up for the hips. And I would get people to repeat that for a good minute. So that would be the first one, obviously changing legs. So I'll just show you on this side, so pushing away. And think about the movement coming from the hips, so not too much the pelvis. So if you start to feel your bum twisting on your mat, then you're pushing a little bit too hard and there's a bit of compensation going on. So pulling across, more side of the leg into the bottom, and doing that 3-second hold again. And repeating for a minute on this leg. Okay, so releasing the foot off. So what you can do as well in between each exercise, if you want to, you can either just gently rock knees from side to side, maybe as a releasing out, or you can hug the knees up to the chest, a little bit of side to side rocking as well. Okay, so the next exercise is we're going to warm up the hamstrings. So we're going to bring knee up to chest, okay, try and straighten the leg as much as you can. Don't worry too much if you can't fully straighten at the moment. We're just going to warm the hamstrings up. So we're going to take the hands behind the back of the leg, just encouraging that leg in a little bit further, releasing off and back down. So knee up to chest, leg as straight as we possibly can. Guiding that leg in a little bit further, release, bend the knee and down. Okay, so as we pull in, we're just doing a count of 1, 2, release. So this one, because it can be quite a strong stretch, especially if the hamstrings are quite tight, you're really thinking about your stretch scale on this one. So not going past a 7, especially if you're new to any of these. And if you find you're getting a bit of discomfort in through the lower back, it might be that the hamstrings are quite tight, which is giving you that slight discomfort. So it is important to stretch them off. And don't be surprised if you are suffering with a bit of sciatica, that this could bring in a little bit of the symptoms as well. Okay. So I would carry that one on for a good minute. Okay, so we've now warmed up more hips, we've warmed up hamstrings. So we're going to do a little bit more. Actually, we'll stick with one more dynamic. We're going to work on glutes. So we're going to take our knee up to our chest, slide our other leg away from us. Okay, so I like to call this position 1. So knee to same shoulder. And I would hold that for about 20 seconds. Ease off, come across the body, not too far. So now I call this position 2, so more centre of our chest. So you might want to ease off slightly, come across and then pull back in. So just starting to open up side of the leg, hip and bottom. This might also be quite a nice lower back stretch for some of you, especially opening up that SI, that sacroiliac joint in the lower back. And then ease off again once you've done 20-second hold. And now bringing your knee right across your body as far as you can. So come across, maybe pull back in. If this is starting to get a little bit uncomfortable through the groin and it feels like it might be pinching, then don't come too far, or maybe try lowering the leg down a little bit. Okay, I quite like to use my opposite hand, just find that a bit easier to get into that position. So now I'm really starting to get that stretch coming down this aspect of my leg. And then once you've done your 20-second hold here again, come back to 2, which was centre of chest. Come back to 1, which was same shoulder. And then slide that leg away. Just have maybe a bit of a shake out of the leg and the hip. And then when you're ready, okay, bring the other knee up to your chest. Slide other leg away. Make sure that leg is nice and relaxed. That leg doesn't need to be working. It doesn't need to be doing anything. And nor does this leg too much. It's our arms that are working hard, keeping the leg in that position. So we started off again, position 1, knee to same shoulder. Come across into position 2, knee to more centre of the chest. Remember your 20-second hold. I'm going to whiz through a little bit quicker. And then come out, across, opposite shoulder, as far across as you can. Now, as you can see, I'm using my opposite hand because I find that a little bit easier. And 20-second hold again. Come back to 2, 1, slide leg away, and I'm going to have a shake out of my legs and hips. And you might want to just bring your knees back up to vent position, and maybe a bit of side to side rocking, or picking the knees up, and a little bit of side to side rocking. Okay, replacing the feet back down. Okay, the next one I'm going to show you, we're going to come up onto our hands and knees now. So we're going to bring right foot forward, okay, and I'm going to take my foot quite far forward. And I haven't got the longest of legs, I'm not overly tall, but I do need to take my foot quite far forward, so I'm in quite a long lunge position. My chest is going to stay down on my thigh. Those two are going to stay in contact the whole time. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to sit back through my front leg. So my aim would be to completely straighten my leg, okay? My hamstrings aren't the best, so I do have to work quite hard on my hamstrings. So as you can see, I'm not far off straight, but I've still got a little bit of a bend in the knee. So if I was to straighten my leg, I would have to take my chest off, but that's not the aim, okay? Keeping chest down and in contact with the thigh is what we want. So a minute hold for this one. Once you've done your minute hold, bend back up out of the exercise. Bring that leg through. Some of you may need to come up to bring the leg back through, and that's fine. Obviously, we are on our knees for this one, so if you have any knee issues, then you might want pillow, cushion, anything that you can find, or if the knees are really bad, then you might want to miss this exercise out. So let me just show you on the other side. Okay, so walking my front foot forward again, making sure I'm in quite a long lunge position. Hands either side of my foot. chest staying down on my thigh, and I'm going to start to sit back, trying to straighten. So this side is a little bit tighter than my right. Definitely feel that coming right down the back of my leg here. So this is where my hamstrings sit, is from the tip of my pelvis, and they run down the back of the leg and come into the back of the knee as well. So minute hold here, and then once you've done your minute hold, bend up. Okay, bringing your leg back through. You may want to have a little bit of a rest out here, and what you can do is come into prayer position. So you can drop your head all the way to the mat if you can get there. Try and have your bum as close to heels as possible. And we will be getting quite a nice opening through our lower back. So once you've been in that position, you can kind of choose your length of time in that one. We're going to go on to a QL stretch. So QL is short for quadratus lumborum, and it is a very small muscle that basically sits in our waist. Okay, so it connects top of pelvis to bottom of rib cage, and that can sometimes get quite tight for some of us. So we're going to have our legs out wide, okay, just getting a little bit of an inner thigh stretch, but not too much. And I'm going to take my arm down my leg, bringing my arm up, and I'm going to slightly rotate my body inwards, and I'm going to go into a side bend position. And then I'm going to slowly come back up. So I'm going to keep this one dynamic. So I'm going to do about a 3-second hold. So what you need to think about with this one, what is quite important, is that you keep your bum fairly even. So as I side bend, what I don't want to do is start to really lean through my bottom. I want to try and keep my bum even, as if my bottom was on a pair of scales, okay? So you can repeat that one for a good minute, maybe a minute and a half, depending how it feels. If it feels quite tight, you might want to carry on for a little bit longer. Okay, so that's my QL, my lower back stretch. I'm going to go back to glutes again. So I'm going to give you another glute stretch. This one I find for myself, and a lot of my patients who come to my classes also find this one a lot stronger stretch. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our knee up to our chest like we did before, sliding our other leg away from us. We're going to keep our same hand on our knee. So my left hand is going to be on my left knee, my right hand is going to come as low towards my ankle as I can possibly get. If that's too difficult to reach, then what you can do, I've got a strap here, but you could use a towel, piece of rope, dressing gown cord, anything that you can find at home. And you might want to hook your ankle, okay? So same hand on knee, opposite hand, in this case I can't reach, okay? And then I would push my knee across my body, so back to position 3, and then pull my foot up towards me as well. Okay, so as you can see, I've gone across my body and pulled my ankle. So now I'm adding a bit of rotation to my hip, and that's really getting me right along this line here. So I would hold that one for maybe 30 to 40 seconds, and then release, ankle back to neutral position, bring the knee back, okay, releasing off the leg. So I'll show you without the strap. So knee up to chest, same hand, so my right hand's going to stay on my knee, my left hand's going to come towards my ankle, so I'm going to push my knee across and pull my ankle up towards me. And yes, that's giving me a really strong stretch in my glutes there. So same again, about 30 to 40 second stretch. Release your ankle off once you've done. Bring your knee back, slide leg away, have a bit of a shake out of the legs, and then maybe bending legs back up again, maybe a bit of side to side rocking to release off through the back and the hips. Okay, so piriformis stretch, and piriformis is a small but deep glute muscle, and this one can be a major muscle that is responsible for sciatic pain. For some of us, the sciatic nerve either runs through the muscle, in front or behind, and we're never really sure where it sits on ourselves. If we're someone who is prone to sciatica or sciatic symptoms that start in your bottom and never in your lower back, then you might actually be suffering from piriformis syndrome and not sciatica. So it is important to make sure this muscle is lengthened and stretched if you're someone who suffers with that. So I'll show you an exercise now. So we're going to place our foot onto our knee. We've made a little triangle with our leg, and what we're going to do is we're going to come through and we're going to pick the leg up. Okay. If you've picked your leg up and now you're like this with your head, okay, then you might need a pillow just to support. If you can't reach your leg and you always need a bit of an extension, then this is maybe where your towel, your dressing gown cord or piece of rope comes in, and you can pop that behind the back of the leg and then use that to pull your leg up to your chest. Okay. So about 40-second hold. You could always take it up to a minute if it's okay. For the wrists, this is where might actually get more wrists for some of you. And then you can come down and release. Okay, changing sides. Let me just show you on this side. If you want to use strap. If you don't want to use strap, then just using your hands, hugging in. Or there is another version that I can show you if you want to do it passively. Then you can get close, maybe use the wall, place your foot back onto your knee, and then placing your foot up onto the wall. See how that feels for around the hip, the glute. Like I said, it's that deep glute muscle that we're trying to target. If not, you may need to move it a little bit closer to increase the stretch, or vice versa, moving back away from the wall if it's too much of a stretch for you. Okay, I'll show you on the other side. So like I said, about a 40-second stretch, could be longer if it feels okay. If you're doing it passively, you could probably get away with a good minute. If you're doing it actively where you're holding, maybe more around the 40 seconds. Okay, so releasing off, just coming back onto your mat, and then taking the knees up to the chest, just to finish off. Maybe a little bit side to side rocking, maybe circle the knees as well. Releasing out through that lower back. And then bringing the legs back down. Okay. Well, there was just a short clip of a few exercises for the lower back and for sciatic pain. Each and every day, me and Sammy are hoping to bring you more videos. So we are going to bring you videos with chair, standing, hips, shoulders. So we're going to be bringing you all the mishmash of our classes, and we hope you enjoy.